on the ground waiting for anyone that'll approach them. Greta?
Marina, thank you. Now we're going to try to go back to Neil Franklin, the former Baltimore police training commander. Neil, you've got a line of police officers there standing there very stoic. People are coming up and insulting them and saying horrible things to them. Obviously, these are the provocateurs. They aren't the peaceful people like many of the people there. How do you train these police officers to stand there stoically and not react?
Well, this is what we train them to do, but it's not just their training. What's important here are the supervisors standing behind them, the command officials that are behind them, speaking to them minute after minute, second after second, hold your composure, do what you're trained to do, constantly reminding them of what they're supposed to do. And that's what we need on the streets day in and day out. First line supervisors being there with their men and women, constantly giving them guidance and coaching. They're going to be fine. They're going to do what they need to do, and they're going to hold that line. They're going to set the example. They're going to have restraint, and they're going to make it through this night and any night that they have to from here on.
You know, Neil, I salute Ashley, who was a guest a few moments ago, talking about what she wants to do for the community. The mother who slapped her son around, who she caught out protesting. And I also salute the police, because they're sitting there. Many of them are probably exhausted. And, it's hard to take all the insults. There'll probably be a brick lobbed at them or anything. So I do have to salute those police officers as well, taking that.
I salute them as well. I mean, you're absolutely right. It's very tough. It's very difficult for them. As far as that mother who went after her son, when I grew up in Baltimore City, just blocks from where this is occurring now, that's what my mother would have done to me. That's what my father would have done to me. And that's what a neighbor would have done to me.
Who do you think these people are who are doing the provocation? Are they outsiders coming in? Is that what they're worried about tonight?
Well, we do know that there's some outsiders here. Exactly what they're doing, we don't know, but we do know that they're here, they're on the ground. But we have to admit that what occurred last night, they were people who live here, okay? And as you heard before, they are criminals, people who are going to destroy property, people who are going to hurt others, destroy their own neighborhoods. Those are criminals. But I have to say this, there are far more people, as you saw today, who've come to the streets to clean up, to set an example, to encourage those who protest peacefully, like the group behind me. There are many folks like that here in the city who are going to do what they can to keep things quiet. Will we be successful? We don't know, but we're sure going to make the effort to do so.
All right, Neil, well, it's about 2.5 hours before that curfew sets in. Thank you for joining us. And ahead, she's best known for a lead role in the hit show The Wire, which was based in Baltimore. Sonia San goes on the record and tells us what she wants to see happen in Baltimore. Our live breaking news coverage continues.
You owned your car for 4 years. You named it Brad.
This is Fox News Alert. We have an update on the protests taking place right now in Baltimore. Fox senior correspondent Rick Leventhal is live in Baltimore. Rick.
And Greta, a much calmer night tonight than last night, but a sense of uncertainty here. No one really knows what's going to happen when the sun goes down and when that curfew kicks in at 10 o'clock. We're standing in front of a line of armored police officers with Baltimore City Police. You see the shields and the riot helmets, but you can also see this line of local residents here in front of them. They have formed their own line, the community has, to deal with the people before they have to deal with the police. And so far, they haven't had any issues, they tell us, at this location. But it's definitely, there's a lot going on here. You might be able to hear drums in the background. There's a large group of demonstrators who have walked through the streets, hundreds of them, and they're banging drums and they're calling for peace in the city. We also just had some people up on this rooftop over here, and a Baltimore City Police helicopter flew over and on the loudspeaker ordered the people to get off the roof. Perhaps another example of how they're not taking anything tonight that they might have taken last night, that they have definitely cracked down. We were just a few blocks from here, Greta, last night when we saw some action of our own. We got out of the vehicle to check out a couple of car fires at the corner of North and Fulton, and we want to show you what happened to us. Whoa, watch out. Trying to cover the news, yo. want us. We had 2 or 3 bottles thrown at us, Greta, at least 3, a couple over our heads and one smashed at our feet. The locals didn't want us there. Those 2 cars were 2 of the 144 vehicles that were burned overnight, along with 15 buildings. So a lot of destruction last night. So far, fortunately, nothing to report on those terms tonight. And obviously the police are hoping that the extra boots on the ground and that curfew will help keep things safe, Greta.
Rick, thank you. Our next guest is best known for playing Detective Kima Greggs on the show The Wire, which was based in Baltimore. She also lived in the city. Actress Sonia Sang joins us with a reaction to the riots in Baltimore. Sonia, thank you for joining us. And as you look at these pictures of these protests, and then you hear from the woman like Ashley talking about promise and opportunity, what she wants to do, and then you see the mother clobbering her son. It's such a wide spectrum what we're looking at, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. But, all of it's necessary. The mother disciplining her son, Ashley trying to make Baltimore a better place and showing up for peaceful protests. And unfortunately, what I deem the city's leaders' neglect of the people's needs has brought the city to a boil. And unfortunately, we saw the kind of destruction that we saw yesterday. But I think I want to make it very clear that what occurred yesterday did not begin yesterday. It's happened over decades, over years.
You know what, though? It's like, when I did poverty law for a long time. That's how I started my career as a lawyer. And, and I spent a lot of time in the inner city area. And it seems to me that so many people come in and make promises. They're going to do something for the community. And then, once the election's over, I mean, I have I'll tell you, I don't understand this, but, the inner city community gives its vote to the Democrats, but I don't see a lot of Democrats returning once the election's over. And so I have resentment towards anyone who makes promises and doesn't come back.
Greta, I have to agree with you. I don't follow, party lines in general. I'm a registered independent. But I think, it's time for us to start voting for people, not for parties. It's time to get, fresh faces in office with new and clear vision. And it's time to get folks in office that are really going to work for the people. And, the time that I spent in Baltimore, I was extraordinarily frustrated by city leadership. Who made those promises at the local crab boil or the bull roast, came to a community meeting or two, and then, turned right around.
But it goes right up to the top. I mean, President Obama promised so much in 2008. I mean, it goes all the way to the top of the totem pole. I'm talking about national leaders. National leaders.
Well, you know what, Greta. We can always critique our leaders, Republican, Democrat, or otherwise. I like to focus squarely on Baltimore city leaders here. Once we move up the food chain, we know that there are a lot of challenges, a lot of budgetary concerns. There are a lot of other concerns and elements at play, which I don't have the expertise to speak to. But what I can speak to is my experience in Baltimore, the time that I spent there, the time that I spent working with formerly incarcerated youth who were trying to turn their lives around and were constantly caught in a catch-22 and not having resources available to lead those children to, those young people to, as they were trying to change their lives. And I was privy to the promises, the ones that were not kept.
Sonia, thank you very much. And, of course, crime is always a big problem. It takes away a lot of opportunity as well. Anyway, Sonia, thank you very much.
All right.
The president is criticizing the rioting in Baltimore and telling the nation to do some soul searching.
I think there are police departments that have to do some soul searching. I think there's some communities that have to do some soul searching. But I think we as a country have to do some soul searching. There's a bunch of my agenda that would make a difference right now in that. Now, I'm under no illusion that out of this Congress we're going to get massive investments in urban communities. If our society really wanted to solve the problem, we could. It's just it would require everybody saying this is important, this is significant. And that we don't just pay attention to these communities when CVS burns.
Carl Wolf joins us. So let me add, or when we want to be elected.
Exactly. Look, let's give him his due. The president said some really good things in that roughly 14-minute news conference with the Italian prime minister. He opened, Japanese prime minister. He opened by talking about the family of Freddie Gray. He said our hearts were with the injured police. He talked about the no excuse for violence. He was very strong on it, which he had not been in some previous instances. And he said this distracts from peaceful protests. But there were two big problems, and the biggest one is represented in that piece of footage that we showed of the president basically reaching out and making a partisan attack. No illusion this Congress we're going to give massive investments in urban communities. Well, first of all, the president has not asked for massive investments in urban communities. He's been there for 6 years. The first 2 years he had carte blanche. He had 60 in the Senate, 248 or 249 in the House. If he wanted a massive investment in the central cities, he could have done it. But don't look at his budget since then. There's no big, massive investment. And so yesterday, at this moment of national tragedy, he reaches out for an unnecessary, cheap little partisan slap at the Republicans in Congress.
All right. Well, it seems to me that, I mean, there's a lot of things going on here. One of the problems is poverty. And you know, we have not won the war on poverty, so whatever we're doing is just wrong. We got to change our strategy, and we haven't done that. We haven't changed our strategy. That's the first thing. The second thing, President Obama talked about even fathers playing a greater role. When I practiced law, I don't remember ever seeing a father be part of the situation when I had juvenile clients. We know what happened to that. I mean, it's like there are a lot of social issues that we're just not facing.
Well, and look, there were some things that he's undone. I mean, one of the great efforts this country has made in order to end poverty and to give people a life of work rather than dependency on government was welfare reform, and he has weakened some of those important elements of the bill. But you're right, we've had for 50 years a war on...
Hello, YouTube. Now you probably were wondering why am I here this evening. Well, let's put it this way. If you're wondering of the whole news been going on yesterday with the Freddie Gray funeral going on, and for this, first off, let me say to Freddie Gray's family, my sincere condolences. The only thing I really am completely disappointed and outraged big time is this. Oh yeah, the riots happening in my hometown area, in my hometown state of Maryland. Leaders taking heat as Baltimore burns. Rioters plummed a part of Baltimore chaos in Maryland, torching a pharmacy, selling police cars ablaze, and throwing bricks at police officers after hours. Thousands mourned a man who died with several spinal injury he suffered from police custody. Now, I can understand these too, but this is way over the thin line, people. You really want to do this thing right now? First of all, people, understand this. I'm from Maryland. I was born in Maryland. I went to high school there. I graduated near PG County, and I went to a private school in Montgomery County, and I even visited Baltimore, even the National Aquarium, okay? Honestly, what the hell is wrong with you? Just because you want to do it because somebody overshot these two, you know what? Maybe you should at your age and grow the hell up. And there's more than these things too. Today is the 28th. The governor of Maryland and the governor of Baltimore issue a curfew-wise, meaning by the time it hits 10 o'clock tonight or military hours, which is 2200 hours in military time, if you have a frickin' watch, you have to be inside the place by 10 p.m. No exceptions on the dot. You're out by 10 p.m. Clink, clink. It's your dumb fault. Now, they got to do a whole bunch of cleaning up because of someone's death. Only I have one thing to say is, you're some fucking idiots. And I had to watch this. I didn't go to bed until about 2 o'clock in the morning today because I was watching the news the whole time. My hometown state going crazy. Maryland governor promises to protect Baltimore as new looting is reported. The governor promised this past Tuesday to propose an appropriate access in place to prevent further looting that was seen in Baltimore the past 24 hours in reaction to the funeral of Freddie Gray, a young black American. Yes, that's why I said young black Americans such as myself, who died in being in police custody a couple days ago. Now, I'm not going to read the whole thing about this, but I'll post more information about this bottom of the scene, or post the link from this story too. But here's one thing for sure. I just don't get it. Really don't. It's just crazy. You want to loot and protest? Fine. But do it the right way. Because looting and destroying property, especially a pharmacy, a mall, a pretty much stole a pharmacy, and hitting and injuring police officers, what the hell's wrong with you people? That is stupid. Honest to goodness gracious, the stupidest thing you could ever do, especially when it's in my hometown state of Maryland, okay? Too many people have spent generations building up this city for it to be destroyed by thugs. Oh yeah, this is coming from the news today. By thugs who in a very senseless way are trying to tear down what was so many have fought for, tearing down businesses, tearing down and destroying property, things that we know will impact our community for years. By Mayor Stephanie Rawlings-Blake, with a hyphen there. Now, if you don't know who she is, I'll put it down there in a blank too. That is Mayor Stephanie Rawlings-Blank, which means she's married. I'm not going to get to that part. And it also says policemen moving down to the destroyer's throw out just at them this past Monday, and some of them had to detain. And people gestured from atop of buildings and from Baltimore police car during a day of unrest in the city this past Monday. I pretty much shove it out. I think that is real stupid, and some of you need to act your age, okay? I mean, people pass away all the time, but this is how you want to protest about someone's death? Really? If someone passes in life, you should show respect for them in mourning. Leave them to give them some time, you know, to reflect things too. But protest because of this stupid bullshit? I don't think so. It's just really dumb. As far as I'm concerned, I think pretty much Whoopi Goldberg said it best when she said earlier today on The View, at your age and freaking grow up. Honestly. My best friend even said, you know what, people can be some selfless idiots just of their selfless ways. Speaking of that, if I had to seriously tell her about this, I agreed about what she said. And she said, you know what, friendship and teens are not judged by the color of the skin. And all I gotta say is, to my best friend, I like that thing. She'd rather be around someone who is light color, such as her friend of hers, or someone who is dark color, such as myself. Yeah. And here's a little thing right now. Friendship, relationship, and families is never judged based on the nationality and the color of your skin. You ever heard the Bible verse, Galatians chapter 6, verses 7? Well, let me put this in limits so you can understand, and look at the bottom of your screen. You will reap what you sow. And that is the honest and deadliest truth. You may not like it. I sure as hell do. And like I said, my condolences to the Gray family of losing Freddie. But really, you really want to protest Baltimore? You really want to protest Maryland? This is what you get when you destroy this like this. You got the National Guard coming in to fix things to you. You got the state of emergency. You have people all over the whole damn country talking about this. And I'm pissed off because like I said, I'm from Maryland. I grew up there half of my life. And now I'm no longer there. And I haven't been to Maryland in a very long time. But this is the freaking bullshit I could see through this morning. This is the damn thing that I had to grow up with. Now I gotta tell my niece this when she goes on, wondering what happened April 28, 2015. Oh, I'm sorry, my niece of mine. Some people went outraged ape shit and destroyed the CBS block. That's what happened. It just don't make sense, people, because you know why? Because every time something really happens, it has to deal with someone who is this nationality. And they said police brutality and racism. No, it ain't. Grow up, buck up, and shut the fuck up, okay? I hope to goodness gracious, for everybody's sakes, this does not happen again. Take a look at a picture of it, because this is what society is, people. This is what real life is. And you really want to know the rest of the story? Here, I'll tell you. Monday's riot was the latest flare-up over the mysterious death of Freddie Gray. That's F-R-D-D-I-E-G-R-A-Y, for FY says, whose fatal encounter with officers came amidst of the national debate over police use of force, especially when black suspects are involved. Gray was African American, or in my case, black American, he was born from Africa. Police have declined to specify the races of the 6 officers, count of 6, involved in his arrest, all of whom have been suspended with pay while they are under investigation. Now, if you don't know more about that, I'll give you that link too. Both links, which is the one to this thing, which is the newspaper here, the Freelance Star, and this from Fox News, which I like very much. Screw you, NBC, and to hell with you, CBS. You both suck. No offense. Oh, hello again. Sorry. The last video that I did before, it got cut off because the battery went low. But I was saying, get back to what I was saying about what I said about, what happened in Maryland. I'm going to put this in layman's terms you can understand. I agree with what Ray Lewis said. For the kids out there, for the teenagers with the riots out there, and the mother who slapped the living shit senses out of her son's Bringle brains, that 17-year-old person, which I saw on the news today and yesterday, kudos to you, lady, for seriously, the little freaking jerk off, okay? Maryland, Baltimore, I don't know what the hell's going on with these, but over the riot thing, you need to get your act together and do like Ray Lewis said, go home! Because it is ridiculous, and it's going to take a long time that Maryland's going to have to rebuild that whole city of Baltimore. The businesses, the place, the CVS pharmacy, the whole caboodle. Excuse me, the whole damn 9 yards is going to happen. Case in point, all I gotta say is, hey, like I said, I'm from Maryland. I love being from that place, and all I gotta say is, something like this should not happen over somebody's death. What the fuck is wrong with you? Not because of that, you had the curfew. And Donald Trump made a little conversation about, oh, our president is not doing a good thing. But he said our African-American president. Hey, Donald Trump, 2 words to say about that. Fuck you! Okay? Excuse my French if anybody don't like it, but don't you ever bash about something like that. What the hell are you seriously doing with your fake ass mom with a stupid toupee on your dumb little crunky head? You want to do something about that? Why don't you chip in that piece of shit company you got right there and help the people that seriously got torn down with the cars and the buildings and everything that happened this past Monday, instead of bitching about President Obama and the governor of Baltimore and the governor of Maryland. Careful, Donald Trump. I'm from Maryland. You better be watching it. And just because you don't like President Obama doesn't mean nobody gonna vote for your ugly ass. So you better be careful who you're talking about. Hillary Clinton's about to run for president. You think she's gonna win? Great chance. I hope so. Because I'd rather not see a dumb Bush in the office again. I mean, look what happened. George W. Bush fucked up the country, and his dad fucked up the country too. So both of them. Now, getting to what I was saying, this is from my best friend who, if she's watching this right now, thank you for your compliment. She said, and I quote, and I'll post, and I'm going to say this very clearly for everybody to understand. It is ridiculous. People always want to play the race card when something happens before an explanation can even be made. Or police brutality this, police brutality that. Or the white man is racist, and I agree with her. It is complete and utter bullshit. People like that who plays the racist card while defending and proving criminal makes others look bad, and I agree too. Because you know why? I think it's real stupid. And those of you people making fun of my video of the Honey Boo Boo video that I have and got me almost 90,000 views, guess what? I don't give a rat's behind what you say. I did the video, I posted the video, the Honey Boo Boo special Family Feud, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll post a link down here when you get a chance, and you'll see what I mean. But I don't care what anyone says about that. My video, my work. Just like the original Family Feud. I like when the belt went ding, 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 ding. They don't do that no more. Seriously, they don't do that. Now, getting back to what she said, I hate when crap like this happens. Over what? That is why I hang out with cool people. And that's what she said. No matter what color they are. And I agree. Friendship, relationships, family, and love should not base on nationality and the color of your skin. And I agree. My niece, who's almost 6 years old, counting 6, She was born biracial, and I love her the way she is. But if anybody makes fun of her because of her nationality and because of her name, and I'm going to say what it is because none of your damn business, rest and believe, just like with my best friend, ow, and trust and believe. I really don't care if you don't like it. I really don't. You mess with my friend, you mess with my niece, you deal with me. Like she said before, oh, that's why I'd rather hang out with for cool people, rather light color like my other friend, I'm not going to mention his name, but I know what she's talking about, or dark color like my best friend, you. Case in point. And I like why she put that. And that's why, you know what, I'm speaking of my best friend too. I care about her just like she cares about me. And we both have one thing in common. The theme of Family Feud. No offense to you, Ray Combs. Rest in peace. The Family Feud theme from 1994 when the late and great Richard Dawson, the original host, we love you. See you on the feud. Miss you, Richard. When Richard Dawson was the original host and came back in 1994. And if you don't remember, take a look at the link up above from your screen and you'll see what I mean. I got a couple of more episodes of Family Feud when he came back in 94. The music was great, the set was great, and that's one reason why we both have one thing in common. We love the music from 1994. Now, I'm going to put this away. What should I like? The music from 1988, what they use today on Steve Harvey's version, or the music from, put it up a little bit, the music from where Dawson came back in 1994, and they still use it on Steve Harvey's today. What do you think? 1988 thing they have now, or the music they should use today for Steve Harvey. I'm with my best friend. 94 sounds good, and it sounds more jazzier. And one thing for sure, don't bash about my best friend, because if it weren't for her, I would not be here right now, because my former best friend, the one who was in Charlottesville, gave me a little ultimatum choice. She said, in a place like this I'm right now, if I'd have had no job coach or no case manager by the time of a certain amount of time, I would have got kicked out. And that's what she said. I had to look for another place to live. I don't think you have all rights and privilege to tell somebody they got to do this in order to stay at a place. To me, I wouldn't give a damn. Not one bit. That's what I'm asking right now. Who should I hang out with? Someone who cares about me? Or someone who strictly judges me? You decide. My decision is, my best friend is my decision. And if she's watching, thank you, Ultimate 23 Dragon. And I mean it by my heart. She is the greatest person that I met, and I'm glad I reunited with her this past year. I am not going to leave that person again. That's the coolest person I met, and here's a couple of things that my former friends don't have that my current best friend have. First of all, we both like Family Feud, like the music. Both fans of Pokemon, the original one, not Digimon bullshit. But there's some current cartoons and things from the retro stuff too. But also here's one thing that she has that they don't have. A good smile, funny personality, and the coolest posture I've ever seen in my life. In other words, she's better looking on a scale of 1 to 10. Times that 10 by 3 times for a 30. Ultimate 23 Dragon is a 30. And my 4 best friends, there are a 0. So take that, you little freaking bastards who doesn't like this. And like I said, Ultimate 23 Dragon, if you're watching this, I accept you for you. And I tip my hat to you. To the others, the trolls, as she would say, and the YouTube overlords, if you see this video, leave my damn video alone. And Baltimore, get your act together. Stop being so fucking idiots. Clean up that mess. Work together. Respect the area. And go home. Like I said before, life is a battle. You have to fight it to survive it. Point blank, and a fucking story. Excuse my language if you didn't like it. Oh, and one last thing. My bestie is really funny. And I hope she bees around when my birthday comes up. Au revoir. This is for my hometown state.